Hi, Massive D here. Following up on my latest video, as promised, this time I will show you guys how to easily find any coordinates in Elite Dangerous, and I do mean easily. Now, my personal experience with navigation comes from playing a lot of simulators back in the day, like Flight Simulator, a number of submarine simulators, and a few other games in which you have to depend on your global positioning skills. But for the purposes of this video, instead of trying to explain all the really boring stuff like hemispheres, meridians, how latitudes and longitudes work, and all other stuff that is actually quite irrelevant in Elite Dangerous, I decided that it would be best if I showed you guys how to navigate using nothing more but the in-game compass, and explain how to use it in the most intuitive and beginner-friendly way. Let us begin. We are going to navigate the planet in front of us and land on it exactly where both latitude and longitude are displaying 50 degrees. Before we approach the planet, I want you guys to look at this image and either make a mental note of it or take a piece of paper and crudely draw it for yourself so you have a reference. It will come handy for you later when you're trying to do this yourself, as it will act like training wheels of sort. This is a representation of a compass, on which north is marked as 0 degrees, east as 90 degrees, south as 180 degrees, and west as 270 degrees. First step, approach the planet and descend into it as far as you can without crossing the DRP zone. Keep slightly above it and throttle down fully. This will allow you to orbit the planet at a slow speed, which will help with precision while navigating. Keep your eyes on the horizon indicator. You want to stay in the blue zone to prevent from entering glide mode. Second step, turn your ship towards magnetic north of the planet. Using our little diagram here, we see that north is 0 degrees. Step 3. Let's look at our current position. The top indicator, which represents our current latitude, shows roughly 30 degrees. That value alone lets us know that we are somewhere in the northern hemisphere of the planet. If the reading showed minus 30 degrees, then it would mean that we are somewhere in the southern hemisphere. So basically, positive means north and negative means south. Easy. That also means, if we want to increase our current latitude, we must burn towards north, or 0 degrees on the Elite compass. As well as when we want to decrease our latitude, we want to burn in the opposite direction, south, which our diagram tells us is 180 degrees. In our case, since we want to end up at 50 degrees latitude, let us accelerate towards north. It doesn't need to be exact for now, but you want to get as close to it as about plus or minus 2 degrees. Step 4. Once we have our latitude set, it's time to switch towards navigating the longitude. We are going to do this by burning either east or west. Now, our current longitude indicator reads 118 degrees, and this number alone would tell us that we are somewhere in the eastern hemisphere. Minus 118 degrees, we would be somewhere in the western hemisphere. So, when it comes to longitudes, positive means east and negative means west. Easy peasy. So, since we want to end up on 50 degrees longitude, we must burn west, and our little diagram on the side tells us that west is 270 degrees on the compass. So let us proceed west. And we are nearly there. Once we reach our destination, we want to immediately shift our direction downwards and plummet towards the planet. Now, depending on what we are trying to find, we can use our newly acquired skills to fine-tune the coordinates by adjusting north, east, south, and west while still in the air. But for the purposes of the video, I decided to deploy the Scarab and reach the final destination on land rather than in air. And on my way there, I found something interesting. What are you doing here? This is the most peculiar thing I ever seen. What are the odds of me finding something like this in the middle of nowhere? Well, you know what this means.
Excuse me, Mr. Officer. Still love you like that.
Moving on to home stretch. Careful. Careful. Check 'em. I think I'm going to rate this tip 1 James May out of 5. At the current state that the game is in, navigation may not be that necessary. You certainly can continue to play and enjoy the game to its fullest extent without visiting points of interest like ancient ruins or the barnacles, crashed ships. But if you do know how to navigate properly, you can participate in few extra interesting activities around the galaxy, and it may become increasingly more handy in the future. Thanks for watching.